Hello, I'm Svitek, 360 Creative Coach, and in this episode, I want to read to you a quote from director Wong Kar-Wai, which if you know me, you know that he's one of my favorite directors, done movies like Chungking Express, In the Mood for Love, 2046, Happy Together, Fallen Angels, My Blueberry Nights, just phenomenal director, truly a favorite of mine. But regardless, the advice applies whether you know his movies or him or not, right? And so I'm going to read it and then break it down, okay? So his quote is, "The approach is to let the film make itself, to let it grow organically, day by day, to find the rhythm of the director, to match a script to its space, to gain the confidence of the actors, to regulate the mood, good or bad, of the cast and crew. It's not that easy. We all have habits and tastes and references that get in the way. The big difference is the level of communication and the amount of trust you share. What we make of our time together is what the film ultimately becomes." So that's the quote. And that to me is very powerful. Think about that. There has to be communication and trust, or communication in order to build the trust. And based on that, how you spend whatever amount of filming days you may spend together, that's what either creates the magic or lack thereof. And I think about that, especially with my first feature film that I directed, and also, the other ones that I've worked on. And this is very true. The film projects, whether feature length or short films, documentaries or otherwise, I've done a number of these at this point. The ones that succeed, there is communication and there's trust. Everyone's on board. And the ones that have issues of that, that doesn't mean it's impossible, but it's not the same. And when I look at, my first feature film that I directed, we made it on micro budget, but everyone bought in. And that's what made it special. We embraced all imperfections, and yet because there was just a level of trust from everyone's, and just kind of going with it, all the things that seemed imperfect are actually what added up to very magical moments. Now listen, I'm not saying it's a perfect movie. I'm not saying it's 400 blows or 8.5 or, On the Waterfront or whatever other, classic movie, that's regarded in history as like a pinnacle of movie making. No, I'm not saying that. But it does have a special magic to it that I will defend from any critic or whatever. And it's because we let it grow organically. That doesn't mean we didn't have a plan. That doesn't mean we didn't have a script. We had all those things. We had a game plan. We had fail safes. We had all these things. But there was a spirit and a willingness to go along for the ride. And that's what made it special, both in terms of making it, but the end result as well. And I really wish people took that to heart. And that's why for me, the stuff that I do make, I am very sensitive about, for better or worse, right? I'm willing to admit this, for better or worse, of opening up to too many people in terms of the sets that I work on, if I can control it. Because the more people introduces more variables. And the people I like to work with, I got to be able to trust. And vice versa, of course. And, in that way, I think a lot of the people that I know that are becoming successful in the creative space and film space, they also have this. They're very protective. And, even myself, I've had to prove my worth to some of them, and I gladly do it. Because I understand that mentality. Now, I couldn't express it as beautifully as Wong Kar-Wai. I came across this quote of his very recently. But when I did, it all made sense. Because it flooded my mind to the hindsight of it all and made me realize all these things. So I think that's something for you to consider as a filmmaker and as an artist in general. So that's what I have for you today. Once again, I'll read the full quote. The best approach is to let the film make itself, to let it grow organically, day by day, to find the rhythm of the director, to match a script to its space, to gain the confidence of the actors, to regulate the mood, good or bad, of the cast and crew. It's not that easy. We all have habits and tastes and references that get in the way. The big difference is in the level of communication and the amount of trust you share. What we make of our time together is what the film ultimately becomes. That to me is beautiful. Please share your thoughts in the comment section or hit me up on social media at Svitek. Would love to hear what you have to say about this. Thank you for taking the time to tune in, carry it with you, reflect on this, and apply it. I hope to see you next time.